anybody from Kenya or from South Africa, for example, they can download the app and they can start to use it. So we're trying to find map makers, last mile delivery, mobility companies that are interested in mapping data. We capture through the lens of 6 surrounding cameras of your vehicle. Through your entire trip, we collect other types of metadata like GPS, IMU, and so on. And we're selling it to autonomous driving industry. Our type of data, let's call it DePIN type of data, to map making is a vitamin versus to autonomous driving is a painkiller. So I think this very good DEX tooling that they have, very good wallet services that they have, I think this really makes Solana very easy to use for a grandma or an average Joe. And that's a lot of our users in DePIN are normal people, they're not necessarily crypto native.
Alireza, I think you're one of the most frequently appeared guests on Proof of Coverage. It's probably like your 5th time now. I want to ask you first, what convinced you to come all the way out to Mombasa, Kenya? And yeah, just what brought you here specifically?
Yeah, so I think Africa is an emerging market. Everyone knows about that. And when I've been here a few times, and you see that the product market fit of crypto is even higher here. And they have this leapfrog kind of approach going from very outdated or no technology to like the latest level of crypto or blockchain enabled technology, which means it's a good market for us as well to expand to. So that's why, Africa has always been very, very interesting for us. And of course, Escape Velocity is an investor. I know you guys very well. So I just thought it's a no-brainer for me also to take part.
Made a lot of sense to get the gang together
in
Kenya. It's been an incredible time so far. Do you have any footprint here in Africa or in emerging markets in general yet? Like, what does the device count look like, or kind of contributor base look like in some of these markets?
We don't have a very strong footprint yet, and that's because we expand our business based on demand that we get. So instead of having a spray and pray model where we go global, we have always had these, let's say, Natix rewarded regions. So anybody from Kenya or from South Africa, for example, they can download the app and they can start to use it. But for us to reward them with Natix, we need to find data customers, and that's what we're trying to do right now. So we're trying to find map makers, last mile delivery, mobility companies that are interested in mapping data. I would say on the autonomous driving side, which is our new baby, it's a little younger here. So it's going to be a little bit harder to find a customer, also harder to find the Tesla vehicle. But on the map making, I believe there's a very good product market fit. We can scale it very, very easily in terms of supply side. And for demand, we're exploring. We're trying to see how we can help.
Right. And so you mentioned demand-led opening of markets, which I think makes a lot of sense. Don't waste all your token incentives on an area of the world that people don't want map data for. We've also talked about autonomous driving versus map making as 2 different use cases for the video footage you're collecting. So maybe talk a bit about the focus on autonomous driving and what those use cases look like, and then also how Natix data plays a role in serving those customers.
Yeah. So autonomous driving is our new baby. That's also what distinguishes us from a lot of existing projects. I wouldn't say that we have stopped the map making side of the story, because it's one data, different byproducts or different applications, right? So for map making, just before I go into autonomous driving, so for map making, we had this partnership with Grab, where both on the hardware and the software, we're collaborating with them. They enable us to process our street level imagery. So these images that we collect from the road via Tesla and very soon via smartphone, to convert them into map services, enterprise grade map services. And, we're monetizing that. Autonomous driving has different requirements compared to map making. I give you an example. So maybe actually before we go into that, autonomous driving needs data for training, basically their AI models to be able to navigate through the world in different weather conditions, in different what we call edge cases, if there's a jaywalking happening, animal on the curbside of the road, and so on. So one of the parts is training. That's where you need data in one form or shape. The other side is now, imagine that they have had all of their data to train an AI model for the car to be able to maneuver in all these different environments and situations, now you also need data for testing and validation. We can also get into that in a second. So they need a lot of, one way or another, they need a lot of real world data, and they need this data ideally the same way that a vehicle is already collecting this data in real time when it's out there. So that means you cannot have just front facing camera. They need surrounding camera system. They need video data, 30, 40, 50 frames per second, right? Just taking a snapshot, which for map making, you know, a snapshot every few minutes, that's okay. But for autonomous driving, you need 50 frames per second, which is a lot, right? The frequency of the metadata that we're collecting, GPS, IMU, gyroscope, it's very, very different from it's much heavier, right? But once you collect that kind of data, you can also kind of downsize it to just images every few meters and sell it to map makers as well, right? So that's what we're doing with the Tesla device. You can see the box over here. You just plug it into your Tesla. We capture through the lens of 6 cameras, surrounding cameras of your vehicle, through your entire trip. We collect other types of metadata like GPS, IMU, and so on. And we're selling it to autonomous driving industry. Why am I bullish on autonomous driving rather than map making? First of all, they pay a far higher price in autonomous driving compared to map making. Second of all, I would say our type of data, let's call it DePIN type of data, to map making is a vitamin versus to autonomous driving is a painkiller. It's just the market is far more raw, and there is far more challenges to even come to the base level of collecting data. Like, you are not competing with Google Maps and TomToms and Here's of this world, right? Nobody has that amount of data for training or testing and validation. And our data has a very different information decay rate for autonomous driving industry. What do I mean by that? If you have a data that is 3 months, 4 months outdated for map making, nobody's willing to pay for that data.
Right.
It's completely outdated. They don't even pay a single dollar for it. But if we have a data that is even 8 months old, 10 months old, even 1.5 year old for autonomous driving, the surrounding video data, people are still interested, they will pay for it. Because in map making, you're detecting change in the infrastructure, road marks, traffic signs, traffic lights. So these can change very, very frequently. 2-3 months is already a very, very long time. But in autonomous driving industry, what they're interested from the video data is the traffic behavior. How different cars, bicycles, pedestrians, these are kind of interacting with one another so that they can train their AI model to, perform the best way possible. That's why we're bullish on autonomous driving industry.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when the edge case happened. It just matters that it happened and you got it on camera and you can...
Exactly.
For autonomous vehicles themselves, this is just like a noob question, potentially, not knowing much about the industry, but like, is it an AI model that's the brain of kind of like, maybe not each car, but like each brand of cars, and it's like you want to train the model to be more accurate at driving? Or is it more like the car is deciding kind of in real time what to do based on what it sees, whether it's LiDAR or cameras or whatever else?
So let's take the example of Tesla. Okay. I think they're the best by far, and you see already people making fun of Waymo vehicles.
Yeah.
So case of Tesla, their FSD, they have a model that is trained, and this model actually runs on the compute power of your car. So your car has, if you buy a Tesla today, it has compute power, very, very strong actually. And the model that essentially navigates the car runs on the vehicle itself, right?
Like a locally run.
It's locally run, and the input is camera, light. In case of Tesla, it's only camera, right? But in case of other, let's say Waymo, it's also LiDAR data. It's all different kind of sensors that you have. So you update this model every once in a while, right? So you need more data, and especially more edge cases, because these are where usually interesting situations happen that most probably your car wasn't able to detect, right? Or perform nicely around it. If you're driving in a highway, quite static, there are, all the other vehicles are doing what they're supposed to do. Your car will most probably perform flawlessly in that environment. But especially in urban canyon, you're taking a right turn, a bicycle is coming, it's just not seeing the red light, or you have a jaywalking that is not happening on the zebra line. These are interesting situations that the car doesn't know what to do, and usually they screw up, right? So they're looking for more of these edge cases to go back and train a new model that can perform a better job and essentially update their model on all of their vehicles. So this is kind of the cycle that we have for developing testing autonomous driving stack.
Right. Okay. And your token's been live for what, a year or two now?
A year, actually. Tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary.
Really?
Yeah, 2nd of July.
Okay, well, congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Congrats. What has it been like building on Solana, launching the token there, being in the ecosystem? Like, what's the whole experience been like for you guys?
Very good, I have to say. I would still probably make the same decision, simply because I think by far Solana has the best user experience. And this is what I care about for my users, right? We have a lot of non-crypto native users. They're not used to DEXs, even exchanges, doing KYC on an exchange and creating an account. It's just headache, right? At the end of the day. You don't also want to be bound by the exchanges that Natix is listed on, right? You want ideally the easiest user experience. And I think Solana provides that, especially Phantom. I'm very bullish. I think is the best wallet product out there. Exactly. So I always keep saying when I saw this, it was kind of a aha moment for me when I started using heavily Solana. So people can just get their Natix onto their Phantom wallet. If they want to exchange it to any other DePIN token or USDC, they can just do it within Phantom. They just swap it. It finds you the best route with the lowest slippage. You don't have to go to Orca, Radium, nothing is needed. You just so it's beautiful. Once you get USDC, either you spend that USDC, there are off-ramp solutions right now. You can just top up your credit card and spend USDC, or you have a exchange account on Coinbase or whatnot, depending which jurisdiction you are. Again, you don't need Natix to be listed on any centralized exchanges. That's the beauty of it. So I think this kind of very good DEX tooling that they have, very good wallet services that they have. I think this really makes Solana very easy to use for the for a grandma or an average Joe. And that's a lot of our users in DePIN are normal people. They're not necessarily crypto native. So yeah, amazing. And there are a lot of other builders. I'm happy that Solana as a chain is also giving special attention to DePIN. I don't know if you've been following, but
of course, yeah.
I think they are the only non-DePIN specific chain that is giving so much attention to DePIN.
Definitely.
In my eyes. I don't know if you've seen anything.
No, for sure. I mean, it's definitely the largest, most vibrant DePIN ecosystem of any chain. It's pretty clear, I think. So it's good to hear you've had a good experience with it. What can we look forward to over the next 6 months from Natix and from you?
We're cooking a lot of interesting stuff on the autonomous driving side. So working with a lot of big players in the market, working with top research scientists that work for these big players. So we are cooking some cutting edge stuff, I would say. I will announce it when it happens, because usually that would be my 6th time. That would be crazy. I think this year my goal is to be here 5 times and have foolish enough announcements that
100%.
2 already done, 3 more to go. No, but we're working a lot on the autonomous driving side, and generally the focus of the company right now is revenue. So whatever we're building, it's not. We're constantly trying to scale the supply side as well, but I think we're solid enough on the supply side, and it's time to show revenue. And yeah, that's on that front, especially on the autonomous driving side, we're going to announce interesting stuff in the next few months.
Exciting. Well, we'll have you back soon. Where would you like to point our listeners to learn more or get involved on the internet or anywhere?
I would say the best is to go to our website, natix.network. And from there, if you want to follow the project closely, we have a Twitter account, Discord, as well as a blog section for bigger announcements. So and yeah, if you own a Tesla, I would say now is your time to get a VX360. Pretty decent device. You just plug it into your Tesla and contribute to autonomous driving coming to our world much sooner, I would say.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Good stuff.